My wife said, "You're not fun anymore. I want a trial separation." I said, "Done." Then I began the methodical process of separating our lives. Weeks later, her new life crashed down in panic. I'm 42, male, a data analyst. My life is built on logic, unpredictable patterns, and calculated outcomes. I find a deep sense of comfort and stability. My wife, Kelly, 38, used to claim she did too. For 15 years, she called me her rock. That was my role. I provided, I supported, I maintained the steady, predictable rhythm of our life so she could pursue an ever-changing series of passions. First, a pottery business that hemorrhaged money, then becoming a part-time yoga instructor. I paid the mortgage, handled the investments, managed the health insurance. I saw it as a partnership. My role was to build the ship, hers was to be the sail. Last Thursday, she decided the ship was a prison. She sat me down in our living room, the one she'd had professionally redecorated in calming neutral tones last fall. She wouldn't meet my eyes, focusing instead on a decorative vase that cost more than my first car. "Peter," she started, her voice adopting a soft, therapeutic cadence that always signaled an incoming emotional missile, "I need some space. I feel like I'm losing myself, you know." I didn't respond. I waited. The preamble is for the speaker's comfort, not the listener's. "You're a good man," she continued, a verbal pat on the head, "a wonderful provider, but you're not fun anymore. We're not fun. Everything is so planned, so safe. I need to feel alive again. I need to find my own path." I stared at the expensive, non-structural wooden beam she'd insisted we install over the media center. It had cost me my entire annual bonus, a monument to aesthetics over function. In that moment, watching her talk about fun in the very lap of the security I'd spent my adult life building, something didn't break in me. It calcified all the little dissonant data points, the secretive, giggly texting at all hours, the new expensive workout clothes from brands I'd never heard of, the sudden intense reverence for a spiritual guru named Zachary who also happened to be her new tennis partner. They all snapped from a random scatter plot into a perfectly linear regression. The conclusion was obvious and devastating. I looked at her, really looked at her, as if for the first time in years. Her $200 leggings, the fresh manicure on the hand that hadn't worn a wedding ring in 2 weeks because it interfered with her energy flow. She was waiting for me to beg, to promise more excitement, to book a trip to Bali, to become someone I'm not. "Done," I said. The word was a stone thrown into a still pond. It wasn't the reaction her script called for. Her brow furrowed. "Done? Just like that? You're not even going to fight for us?" "You just told me you want a trial separation," I replied, my voice chillingly level. "I'm agreeing to your terms. This is what you want. You should be happy." "Well, yes," but she was flustered, like an actor whose scene partner has skipped to the final monologue. "Okay, well good. I'm going to go pack." She went upstairs. I didn't follow. I listened to the sounds of drawers opening and closing, the sounds of my life being dismantled. For a long moment, I felt a surge of white-hot rage. I wanted to throw that stupid vase against the wall. Then came a wave of immense, crushing sadness. I thought about the girl I married, the one who was thrilled to eat cheap pizza on the bare floor of our first tiny apartment. Where did she go? I let myself feel it all for about an hour, the anger, the grief. I let it wash over me and then I let it pass. What was left was a cold, hard clarity. This wasn't a trial. This was an ambush. And I would not be its victim. I pulled out my phone. My mind was already working. A separation is a legal event. It has rules. It has consequences. She wanted a new life. I would simply facilitate its authentic beginning. My first call wasn't to a bank. It was to a highly recommended family law attorney, Victoria. I got her voicemail, left a concise message, and received an email a half hour later to schedule a consultation for the next morning. The next day, after a sleepless night, I sat in Victoria's office. I explained the situation. She listened intently, her face impassive. When I finished, she gave me clear, methodical advice, not for revenge, but for protection. "The moment of separation is a critical legal marker, Peter," she said. "Your actions from this point forward must be transparent and defensible." Guided by her counsel, I spent the rest of that Friday taking careful, deliberate steps. Financial separation. As advised, I opened a new individual checking account. I didn't drain the account she used, as that could be seen as financial abuse. Instead, I left a significant cushion, $4,000 in the old account to serve as a transitional buffer. I then transferred the remainder of the funds, my savings from my salary, to my new, secure account. I updated my direct deposit with HR to route all future paychecks to this new account. I documented the exact time and date of the transfer, noting it was post-separation credit disentanglement. I am the primary holder on our main credit card. Kelly was a supplementary user. I called the company, informed them of our legal separation, and had her card immediately deactivated. I assumed responsibility for the full outstanding balance, nearly $8,000. It was a clean legal amputation. The benefits time bomb. I logged into my employer's HR portal and updated my marital status to legally separated. This triggered the qualifying life event. The system confirmed the change and informed me that spousal benefits for Kelly would be terminated effective the last day of the current month. It was June 15th. She had 15 days of coverage left. A notification regarding COBRA continuation coverage, the system noted, would be mailed to our home address within 10 business days. This was the most critical step. Her prescription for Max Salt, for her chronic migraines, costs over $600 a month out of pocket. Kelly came by Saturday to pick up more of her things. She was breezy, acting as if this was all a grand adventure. Hope you're not too lonely rattling around in this big old house, she said with a pitying smile. I'm managing, I said. By the way, I've started the formal process. Just wanted you to know. Process? What process? She asked, distracted, looking at her phone. The separation, I said. Legal stuff. Lawyers. You'll probably want to talk to one. She just laughed. Oh, Peter, so dramatic. It's a trial. We'll talk in a few weeks. She had no idea. She thought the Rock would just sit here waiting patiently while she went exploring. She was wrong. Update 1, it took about 5 days for the first tremors to hit her new reality. The trigger was, as expected, the credit card. I got a text on Wednesday. Kelly, this is so weird. My card was just declined at Lululemon. The girl at the counter was so rude about it. Can you call them? I think their system is down. Me, there's no system error. I canceled your supplementary card last week. We're separated, Kelly. Our finances are separate now too. Kelly, you did what? Peter, I needed that outfit. How could you do that without talking to me? Me, I did talk to you. I told you I was starting the legal process. This is part of it. You can use the debit card for now. The 3 dots on her message bubble appeared and disappeared for a long time. She was likely checking the balance of the old account. The $4,000 buffer seems to have kept her from immediate panic, but the message was clear: the endless river of cash had been dammed. The main event, the full-blown earthquake, happened this morning. My doorbell rang at 9 a.m. on Saturday. It was Kelly, and she brought her mother, Joyce, for reinforcement. Joyce is a woman who believes Kelly's whims are divine proclamations and my purpose on earth is to fund them. Peter, I demand you explain this, Joyce commanded as she marched into my foyer. Kelly stood behind her, arms crossed, radiating self-righteous fury. You canceled her credit card? Are you trying to humiliate her? I'm establishing financial boundaries, which is standard procedure in a legal separation, I said calmly. Kelly finally exploded. Standard procedure? This isn't a business merger. This is my life. You're trying to control me, to punish me for wanting more than this boring, predictable life. I'm not punishing you, I said, my voice flat. I'm giving you exactly what you asked for. You wanted a different life. You wanted to be on your own path. I am simply letting you experience the full reality of that choice. The predictable life you find so boring also happened to pay for everything. I let that hang in the air for a moment before delivering the final.